You're on the John Fredericks Media Network and the John Fredericks Radio apps. I am your Godzilla of the truth in America. Want to see me on TV? JFMN.TV, JFMN.TV. If you have a smart TV, we're on Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV. Don't forget that. Just put in my app, John Fredericks Radio. Hit the button. Boom. I'm there. You're there. We're good to go. Great to have you with us on this Monday, February 23rd. Well, all eyes on the armada that we have assembled off the coast of Iran in the Persian Gulf, biggest in the history of the world. The number of ships, firepower, planes, something's going to happen, and it's going to happen quick. President Trump saying he wants to negotiate a deal. The deal has to include the end of the Ayatollah regime. What happens after that, we do not know. Just said Doug Mastriano. He said virtually no chance for troops on the ground. We haven't amassed any. Are there any signs of that? Likely air, take everything out, get rid of the Ayatollahs, ship in the Shah's son, and then let the Iranian people go from there. Sounds risky because you don't know what's going to happen when you displace a government, what government takes over. No one knows what exactly is going to happen, but it's, to me, I'm 100% behind this. You got to take this government out. You got a chance, get them out of there. Oh, John, it's not America first. Yeah, it is. You're going to cut, between Venezuela and China, you cut 65% of China's oil out. It cripples their economy. Cripples it. So you got to get this done. This is a better deal for the American people. No troops in, no boots, but get them out. And then go from there. Work seems to be working out in Venezuela. Maybe it'll work out here. Maybe there's a new way to do this, but it's, to me, worth the risk. Joining me now by phone, Paul Teller, and Paul has a new title. I have no idea what it is. Took me 18 months to remember his other one, and then he got a new one, so forget it. He'll have to tell you what it is. And Rabbi Yaakov Menken, and of course he is. He used to be executive director. Now he's like senior VP of the world for conservative Jewish values, CGA. Let's start with the rabbi. Let's go to what's going to happen in Iran. I mean, you guys have been hoping for this for a long time, and we're like days away now from something happening.
We are certain something is about to happen. The latest news is that the Gerald Ford was seen refueling and getting new provisions in Crete. So, and then it's moving through the Suez Canal. So the buildup is actually still continuing as we speak. Now, look, I'm not a foreign policy expert. Nobody really knows what's going on. The Israelis already, we're sending people, either telling them, don't go to America right now because you're going to get stuck there, or if you're going, go early because this could happen at any time. So, this idea that the Americans are letting anybody know what's about to happen, no. The Trump White House is keeping this one very, very tight. So you see, the symptoms are not there. Nobody knows what's about to happen, but what is clear is that the Trump administration has moved the goalpost. Previously, they were just saying, we want to get rid of Iran's nuclear program. We want the Iranian people to make their own decisions about the regime, et cetera. Now it's, no, forget it. We already know that the current regime is out of touch with the Iranian people. In fact, it is barbarically slaughtering the Iranian people if they dare open their mouths. So now the goal is regime change. Now it's explicit. If you want to get out now, because otherwise you're going to end up like Maduro in an American prison. That's pretty astounding when you think about it. They were just going to do a deal about the nuclear program, end the nuclear program. Now it's no, end the regime. And by the way, that's much better for world peace. That is much better for civil rights around the world. Got to give kudos to the Trump administration for this new goal. We got to understand it may sound drastic. It may sound harmful, potentially leading to war. But when you think about the end goal, which is peace, which is universal civil rights, which is humanity, this is the way to go. And they're doing it.
Let's bring in Paul Teller, president of Teller Strategies. I think we have him by telephone here. Paul, thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir.
Video is better if you can do that in the future.
I know. I know. I so prefer. Most people say I'm a face for radio, but yeah,
Yeah, but
no,
we
you're
prefer
right. I just
video
not where
because then
I
I
could
can
get a
I
good
can put it
signal.
I can put it out. You get more play on it. So if you could really try to do
Gotcha.
video, I would appreciate it. Um,
You got it.
so we got the rabbi on. Um, you've been involved. You've been commenting on this on my show for many years. It looks like now we're days away from regime change there.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with both of you. You both said fantastic things, like you said, for years, and even before. We've all been hanging out on your show and commenting and observing politics, right? For years and years, folks like Rabbi Menken, me, and so many others in this space have been saying, like, just stop dilly dallying around with dealing with weapons, dealing with cash, dealing with other deals. The problem is the regime, right? It's the human beings, right? It's not the weaponry per se, right? In other words, you could lay nuclear weapons in front of Mother Teresa and nothing's going to happen, right? But it's you lay nuclear weapons in front of genocidal maniacs and something's going to happen. So let's get those genocidal maniacs out. If we had done it so much sooner, thousands of lives could have been saved around the world. But okay, not looking backwards, going forwards. Yes, it looks like, as the rabbi said, president and the administration do have it right. It's not about the weaponry per se. It's let's get the regime out. And it looks like it isn't just like in Venezuela, they extracted Maduro but left the regime, right? I mean, the regime is basically still there, or we have more control over it in the past, but, a lot of the same people. This looks like their plans are they're getting everybody out, Khomeini and his, any inner circle, because apparently there's a succession plan that's 4 or 5 people deep on each position and all of that stuff. From what I hear, the plan is to really extract all of those folks so that some peaceful, democratic folks can be taken over that
How do
country.
they extract all those levers of secession government?
Well, how
Well,
they
I
do it
mean,
to the military?
yeah, I was going
They
to say, I think
already
it's
did. They
similar to what you
done
saw
it.
in Venezuela.
But they did not only in Venezuela. They did it in Iran. All the nuclear scientists were gotten rid of, and the generals. There was a whole succession plan of all the generals, and they got rid of them. They got rid of Hezbollah's generals. Also, the Israelis did. The Israelis and the Americans have really good intelligence. If I were the Ayatollah, I would be packing. I would be leaving because he should know that there's a member of his personal entourage on the American payroll. And so, when the time comes, that phone that his aide is carrying will be left there when the aide leaves the room, and presto, the bomb's going to land.
How does he? How do you know that? How do you give that allegation?
Because they've done it already. Because it's exactly what we saw happen with Hezbollah. It's exactly what we saw with the nuclear scientists. Exactly, not all the nuclear scientists were in that site that the Americans bombed so precisely. And yet, mysteriously, they all died within days of each other. And so too the generals. Not just the general, but his assistant and his assistant's assistant. All met an early grave at the same time. So when it comes time to eliminate the political echelon, it's just going to go the same way.
So they want to take out the entire political ruling apparatus in Tehran, and then what? Parachute in the Shah's son, and let the Iranian people take it from there. Is that's got? I mean, that seems like bizarre. I mean, I don't have any of the intel. Just as a layman, like then you're leaving it up to the Iranian people to install him. Meantime, you got all these, generals, Iranian guard people. They control the government. They're just not going to roll over and say, "Hey, have a nice day. Here's the keys."
What do you think, Paul?
No, Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, I think you're making a great point that this is not going to be as easy as we think, right? It isn't like, oh, it is just a perfectly established government ready and waiting, and the people who have been under, oppression for so many years are going to be just perfectly democratic, lowercase d, citizens. It is going to take some work. In fact, I think you're even seeing that Venezuela as a test case, right? In other words, like, it's not suddenly a democracy down there, and there's still, a lot of questionable elements that are still in government. I think it still could be the same here. It could be, a long-term process working in concert with the Israelis, by the way. We wouldn't do this.
No,
Sure, at least that's what I've been reading.
I think, Paul, you're right. I think if we do see a displacement of the Ayatollah and his complete tight inner circle, you're simply going to see Ayatollah light for a while, like you've seen in Venezuela. I mean, the vice president who was part of this, obviously she knew because she went on vacation in some island, right? So she knew this was coming, and they were back channeling it to her. So she got out of there. She's a communist too. She's no different than the other guy. She just is not like murdering people. So they install
she's cooperating,
her.
right?
Yeah, they install her, and she's playing ball
Cooperative
with us.
communist, yeah.
Yeah, but she's still a communist, and she's still a dictator.
Right.
Look at the rest of the Middle East. What happened in 1991, first Iraq War, when the Kuwaitis had to allow the Americans to basically take over the country to push back Iraq out of Kuwait, and they handed Kuwait back over to the emirs. And of course, the dictatorship. Look at the entire Middle East. That's what it is. It's one dictatorship and one fiefdom and one sultanship after another. It's some non-democratic rule. But at least if the non-democratic rule is semi-civilized, the people are a lot better off. You don't need a flourishing democracy.
Kuwait is so good of a historic example, Rabbi.
That is
fabulous. Because they didn't displace any of the Kuwaiti government, any of the apparatus. The emirs are still there. They still got the oil. They're still running it. It's not the greatest place. There's still oppression, but they're reasonable. You can have a conversation with them, and they're a U.S. ally.
That's the thing. In the Middle East, you're dealing, with the exception of Israel, you're dealing with bad and worse. And the question is, look at Al-Sisi in Egypt and look at the Jordanian king. I mean, these places, but at least they're not massacring their own people. At least their people have some semblance of civil rights. You allow people to live their lives, run their businesses, get along, and life moves on.
Great
Let's face
example.
It, the average election, 48% of the population is disenfranchised anyway, right? Your vote went to, we had to suffer through 4 years of Biden. We know what this is, so it's a situation where at every turn you have to see what's going to be a step forward. Putting the Shah's son in is unquestionably a step forward, even if it's not the ideal situation. And it's going to get us closer to where we want to be.
Rabbi Menken, thanks for being with us. Paul Teller, thanks for being with us as well.
Thank you so much.
We got to roll. Michael Patrick Leahy next. Everybody have a great day. Follow me on social media at JF Radio Show, at JF Radio Show. See you tomorrow, bright and early.